No wonder the lady turned to a life of crime. Gasp! Scoundrel! You know? It was by no means a bad book. Just out of all of the books we've read here on Panic at the Book Club, it just wouldn't be on my top for books to read. Hi, my name is Terry Westwell and welcome back to Panic at the Book Club. This week we'll be discussing Counterfeit by Kirstin Chen. If you want to take part in Panic at the Book Club, I do list the next 4 books down below and on TikTok along with the discussion dates. Also, I accept your book feedback in a wide manner of ways. Feel free to post your comments below a video, send me a voice recording, or even a short video clip of you discussing the book. Alternatively, you can just send me a direct message on Instagram. Even though we discuss a book every Tuesday, we don't expect you to read a book every week. Unlike most book clubs, we give you the opportunity to choose what genre best suits you and the ideal time to read it in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and maybe even give us a follow on TikTok. That way you can be alerted for new content and be aware of what books we'll be reading next. If you'd like to recommend or request a specific book, then please feel free to send those in too. Counterfeit follows Ava Wong, a straight-laced, rule-abiding Chinese-American lawyer with a successful surgeon husband, a young child, and a beautiful home. Some might say she had the perfect life, but not everything's quite as perfect as it seems. Realistically, Ava's fancy lawyer degree hasn't been put to use for years, and her toddler's temper tantrums are just sending her to a breaking point. When an old college roommate is wanting to reconnect, Ava realizes that Winnie Fang, once a shy and awkward girl, is now confident and dripping in luxury items. But what is the secret to her success? Just a friendly warning that if you haven't read this book yet, I would suggest going and doing that first. Beyond this point, there will definitely be spoilers. The writing itself was really clear and easy to understand, and all of the chapters were a really reasonable length. However, it was a mighty long book for the amount that happened, which really wasn't much. I liked how it was written and how it was all a story within a story. I liked how it would occasionally remind you that Ava was talking to a detective as she steered away from the story and actually directly addressed them. Also, it took me a surprising amount of time for me to realise that I didn't have to trust or believe exactly what Ava was saying, that the story that she was spinning might not actually be how things happened and that she may be lying. Do you know that moment when you're in like a coffee shop or on a bus or anywhere and a kid starts screaming and you kind of internally sigh and roll your eyes, and although you don't do any of these on the outside, you kind of feel a little bit guilty for your immediate response? I mean, realistically, mum or dad is probably trying their hardest and is probably embarrassed enough without the looks and stares from strangers. No? Just me? Well, that's kind of how I felt about this kid in this book, right? Apart from, I never got that guilty feeling. This kid was a brat, and it drove that point home. No wonder the lady turned to a life of crime. In all honesty, though, she never really seemed to help herself in this situation. She spoilt the kid and constantly ran around after him. No wonder he's a brat. I don't think at any point you really get to know the true Ava, and I think that's intentional. In so many ways, she seemed like such a weak character. Yet when it came to the counterfeit business and towards the end of the book, you realise that she's not quite as innocent as she seemed. There were 2 very different versions of the same character. The one that was shown to the detective and the reader at the beginning of the book and the real version of Ava. Cunning and clever, she managed to trick Ava until you realise at the end that actually Ava had a lot more to do with it than we first thought. It didn't exactly take much for Ava to get involved. I mean, by the end of the book, I definitely got more of a equal partnership, actual real friends vibe than I did one being dominant or having more power over the other. Also, quick side note, if you start paying your nanny, who's supposedly your friend, extra money to lie to your husband, you can't be too surprised that the dynamics of your relationship changes. Like, there were other characters in the book. You know, the husband, Mac, nanny, but I just don't really have much to say about them. But to be fair, I think that makes total sense. The whole book is spoken by Ava from her perspective about a very specific topic, Winnie and this counterfeit business. So it makes sense that the people who weren't really too involved weren't really that prominent. And Ava was talking to this detective, right? So as for Mac, she wouldn't have wanted to have painted this picture that she really knew him all too well. All of the parts that we experienced with Mac were tailored to suit Ava's story. The twist was surprising, but it was more, so she might not be quite so innocent as she seemed, rather than like, gasp, scoundrel, she lies, you know? It was an interesting book. The more you think about it, the more layers to the story you see. Most of the book can be sort of taken apart to try and reveal the truth of what really happened. Unfortunately, I just thought that the book was a little slow and boring. That's not to say it was a bad book, because it really wasn't. It was clever and thought-provoking. I just didn't connect with it. Personally, I just prefer things a little bit faster paced, romantic, or even scary. The book was well written, it just didn't instill any particularly strong emotions in me. Now, would I recommend the book? It was by no means a bad book, but no, I wouldn't. Just out of all of the books we've read here on Panic at the Book Club, it just wouldn't be on my top for books to read. It was kind of like the people on Platform 5 in the sense that not a great deal really happened. But at least with that book, I connected more with the characters. Let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy the book? Next week, we'll be discussing Enduring Love by Ian McEwan, so don't forget to get your comments and thoughts in by Monday the 14th of August at the latest to make sure that you can be a part of the discussion. You can now do this on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. The following week, we'll be discussing Mad Honey. And don't forget, if you do need a little bit longer to read a book, I do now list the next 4 books down below, so you can choose which one best suits you. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.